and welcome to Big Fish. Today we are joined by Mr. Patrick Normand, CEO of one of the world's most luxurious brands, Cartier. Thank you, Mr. Normand, for taking out the time to talk to NDTV Profit.
Thank you very much for interviewing me in these very exciting times in India.
Thank you. Let me begin by asking you, Cartier has a very old and a very strong connection with India dating back to early 19th century, yet it took you almost 100 years to open your first store in India. So let's go back about what was the connection and why did it take so long?
Well, that's very interesting that you're asking us this question. In fact, it's true. Jacques Cartier came to India for the first time in 1911 for the Delhi Darbar. And at that time, he had the opportunity to meet the big powers of the time, which were, of course, the Maharajas and the big families of the early 20th century. And he managed to seduce them through its creativity, the craftsmanship of Cartier, and the beautiful jewels that he could provide them. But at the same time, visiting India quite often from 1911 until the beginning of the Second World War, Jacques Cartier was inspired and seduced by India, hence bringing some of the Indian spirit to Cartier creation. Think, for instance, of the Tutti Frutti collection, which dates from those days. And that very strong spirit has been expressed in different time within our Cartier creations and jewelry. Not lately than last year, we launched a beautiful range, again inspired by India, that we called Inde Mystérieuse, or Mysterious India. So yes, you're right, our bond with India is very strong. Our bond is relatively old, and at the same time we were not present in India directly. So it's true, we took some time to decide to come to India directly because there were a couple of hurdles that we needed to go through before we were able to come. The first one was the very good decision that the Indian government took 2 years ago to allow French or foreign companies to invest directly through FDI, provided, of course, that they would get the proper arrangement in the retail industry through mono brand or single brand stores. So that was the first step. So we've done our homework, we went through all the process, and we've got the authorization of the Indian government to set up our own company at the end of March. At the same time, there was a great opportunity which was offered by DLF Emporio, whereby through a beautiful luxury mall, human size, all the best luxury houses of the world were ready to open stores. So we thought that Cartier should be very much part of that development, and the smart thing that DLF Emporio did was to give enough space to each luxury house, so those luxury houses are able to express themselves and show the international colors that they have, not a small boutique lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But at Cartier, we believe in something which is very important, that it's better to not do things, or you have to excel at doing these things. And that was the reason why it took us a bit of time to open our boutique in India.
Delhi Emporio is your first store. What are the other key markets that you're going to be looking in India?
Well, I'm looking, of course, at all the big metros in India, but first and foremost, we need to get that boutique ready and running, and of course, we need to make sure that we bring the best of Cartier to that store before being able to open in other cities. So it means for us, of course, bringing the latest creations of Cartier to our customers in that boutique in New Delhi. It means as well to create a team which will be very strongly trained at Cartier luxury service and so on and so forth. So that's what we should do as a priority.
So metros would be the key target. Let's talk a little bit about the store formats. How big are these stores going to be? Large formats, small format stores? What's going to be the ambience like? Can you talk a bit about that?
So the first one that we're opening here in Emporio is a 3,000 square feet boutique with a beautiful facade of 30 meters. So it's a grand Cartier store.
So mainly large format stores?
Large format stores, but as well very warm, where you can have the space to sit down enjoy your time at Cartier, because what we want to do first and foremost is to make sure that our luxury customer is going to enjoy his time or her time at Cartier.
I wanted to ask you this question. Many European brands have experimented with five-star hotels in India to enter and set up their outlets. Why hasn't Cartier explored that option?
Well, on our side, we believe very much on opening something which is very much in par with what we are doing in other parts of the world. I mean, I think our Indian customers would have felt shortchanged if we had not come up with a nice boutique, and that was the first opportunity we got at the DLF Emporium.
I see. Let's talk a bit about the product portfolio that's going to be retailed in these stores. Will that be including your entire global portfolio, or can we expect some selective range of products for the Indian market?
So the first thing, which is a very good news, is that opening a Cartier boutique will be able to bring our jewelry to India. Because until now, we are only selling our Cartier jewelry through our Cartier stores, and we have about 250 of them around the world, but they were known in India. So, of course, that gives us the opportunity to get this jewelry to our Indian customers, and they will be able to discover here in New Delhi the Cartier range and creations in the jewelry field. So that's the first thing. On the other hand, you'll have all the other Cartier creations, watches, luxury accessories, perfume. But of course, the main purpose for us is to, through this boutique, exhibit in a very nice environment our jewelry and watches, because we are stronger in jewelry and watches, being a jeweler and watchmaker. So that's the first thing. What we will do as well is to create from time to time very specific limited edition pieces just for the New Delhi boutique to tell our Indian clientele that, well, you have something special here. And very soon you will be able to admire a limited edition of beautiful watches that we will bring to India. So that's.
So you're going to be designing, you're going to be bringing in certain range of products that are only going to be retailed in the Indian market. They are designed for the Indian market.
It's not designed as such for the Indian market, but it will be just available in that boutique. So if someone wants that piece of watch, that beautiful watch, he has to come or she has to come to that boutique and buy it from there.
Why such a selective?
Well, I think that's very exciting for our Indian customers to have something that only shoppers our New Delhi boutique will be able to find. And on the other hand, very obviously, Cartier being Cartier, our top customers will be able to ask for very special pieces that we can create just for them. That's one of our main development. And
so you're also going to be working on customization of products?
Not customization as such, but bespoke. I mean, creating, with our creative department, maybe a beautiful necklace that you are dreaming of, and that kind of work that we can do.
So it's going to be jewelry, watches, and the entire
Well, whatever
portfolio.
You fancy, because Cartier is, of course, a very strong creator in all these different fields, and we'll be able to do that for our Indian customers.
I see. Let's talk about your marketing plans, how you plan to position or how you're planning to use the marketing tools for the Indian market.
Well, talking about that, Cartier, over the 161 years of its existence, has managed to seduce the top-end customers in the world, to the point that Edward VII of England said about Cartier, Cartier is the king of jewelers because he's the jeweler of all the kings. So, of course, we want to bring that spirit of Cartier to India. And we will use, of course, all the right ways or the right channels to target those very prestigious customers.
Are you planning to use a certain media tool like print, like luxury magazines, or are you planning to tie up with any of Bollywood?
Well, we do already, of course, have a very strong presence in the prestigious magazines, lifestyle magazines, as you were mentioning, but more than these traditional way of attracting or seducing our customers, we will have the opportunity as well, through the presence of our boutique, to have very specific events, which will be, of course, the occasion for us to strengthen the bond that we have with our customers.
So only restricted to the print media, or are you going to explore options like the video or any other platform?
We have no TV advertising, so we don't intend to develop one specifically for India.
How would you say, where does India stand as far as your revenue contributions are concerned from the Indian market?
Well, on our side, what is very exciting is that we are looking at the world, and the world is changing. So we see more and more countries like China, like the Middle East, like Russia, and very soon India, taking a more important part in our luxury world. So we are very happy that to see that India is getting part of those markets, because we have such a strong bond and such a strong history together with India. I mean, to be able to open a new chapter and to be able to write that new chapter on India is, of course, very exciting.
So currently, if you could give us a number as to what percentage of the revenues are coming from the Indian market or the Middle Eastern Indian market combined?
Well, the Middle East is getting more and more significant within the total development of the luxury world, and particularly at Cartier. So these numbers are growing at a very fast rate, and actually we are competing very hard with China to gauge each other on the world market.
So any specific number that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I would not be able to, unfortunately.
About the product portfolio that you mentioned, what are some of the fastest growing product categories that you're seeing in the Indian market?
At this stage, it's clearly the luxury watch market, which has done extremely well, and Cartier being one of the strongest and leaders in that luxury world, luxury watch world, in fact, we've done very, very well, and we're expecting that to come to a new step when we will have opened this new Delhi boutique, because it will give us the opportunity to bring the entire range of watches, including some beautiful jewelry watches that we are creating.
So certainly luxury watches is one category. Any other category that you're seeing is seeing a lot of demand?
So we're expecting a lot from jewelry, of course. I mean, we've not been able to test the jewelry field as yet in India, but we all know that India loves jewelry, and India is enamored with jewelry, and no one exists in India without jewelry. So I think Cartier will be very, very relevant within that frame.
So how much would you say, what percentage of the luxury watches are exported to India from Cartier?
From Cartier, I would not be able to give you an exact figure, but what we know is that from the Swiss Federation, Watch Federation, the exports to India should be about less than 1% of the luxury Swiss watch exports.
Compared to the other emerging markets, where does India stand as far as demand for luxury brands like yours are concerned? How do you compare it with China or other emerging markets?
Well, we started in China a long time back, and this year we will have more than 20 boutiques all over China at the end of the year. So when you compare 20 boutiques plus a full network of luxury watch retailers and different other luxury stores, of course you can't compare with one boutique and another network in India. So there is a huge gap at this stage between China and India as far as luxury is concerned, but I hope that India will catch up very fast.
So you have 20 stores in China, and this is your first store in India. Why did it take so long? What were the challenges coming from the Indian market?
Well, I think I'm back to square one when you ask me why did it take you so long to open a boutique in India. First of all, there was the regulation environment. So this matter has been solved 2 years ago. The second point was very much linked to the availability of space, with a space which is in line with what luxury is expecting and which was not available in India. We have this beautiful investment from DLF Emporium. Now it's there. So we will be only able to move when the infrastructures are moving.
So now that your store is in place, what kind of challenges do you foresee?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of challenges ahead of us. So the first one I was mentioning to you is to make sure that our team members get trained in a very good way to the luxury service that we want to provide to our customers. On the other hand, if we want to go steps further, we need as well this structural development to happen in other cities around India.
So finding a right informed workforce that can help you retail the product in the best
is one of the key points. Finding other locations which are appealing and attractive for Indian luxury shoppers is as well another point.
What would you say about the real estate prices?
Well, they are extremely high.
That's all?
Yes.
So what about on the regulatory front? What if you were to make some recommendation, what kind of changes would you like to see?
Well, at this stage, I think the regulatory environment has moved a lot and is quite positive for luxury. There is still one issue which is linked to the very high import taxes on some ranges of our creations, like on the watch field, like on the leather field, and so on and so forth.
So compared to the other markets, India has a significantly difficult tax structure, would you say?
That's right.
So what would your wish be? Or
go back to what is done internationally.
And what would that be?
So maybe suppress the countervailing duty.
To what? What would be an ideal, or what would you say, what would be a reasonable percentage?
So the reasonable percentage is from 5 to 15% import duties put together, yes.
Your partner in this venture is relatively a small company, whereas other international brands that we've seen which have entered the Indian market have tied up with big Indian companies which can give them operational guidance about how to penetrate into the Indian market. Was there any particular reason why you did not choose a big company as your partner?
Well, actually, you're right. We've had a very different philosophy. We believe that the best for us is to bring the knowledge of Cartier, and the knowledge of Cartier, only Cartier has it. On the other hand, I was mentioning to you, within our team, we have some people who are Indian nationals who know very well the groundwork here and have a very good understanding of the Indian mentality. And I myself, I was mentioning to you, have been more or less associated with India over the last 20 years. My wife is Indian. I mean, I have a lot of understanding about this country. On the other hand, most of the other companies you are mentioning have very little knowledge about India, so I guess they need to back them up with an Indian partner who will guide them and get them to understand India in a very efficient way.
Do you plan to continue with the same partner?
Well, we believe that it's a great partner and we should continue that way.
A lot of the Cartier products are retailed through various multi-brand outlets as well. So now that your boutique is in place, are you going to continue doing that as well?
Well, that's what we do everywhere in the world. We believe that it's an added advantage for Cartier to have very serious and strong partners in different fields. I mean, when you are looking for a watch, maybe you want to see different things and have the opportunity to compare and see that Cartier is the best out of all the very exciting luxury brands that you can see around. And that's one of the reasons why we intend to continue to have a network of watch retailers, of luxury eyewear or optical retailers who will continue to retail our creations.
Cartier also has a very strong bridal collection, and the wedding is a huge occasion for the Indians. So how are you trying to integrate that concept?
Well, you're right. Actually, this will be one of the things that we will need to understand from the Indian perspective and bring the best of Cartier to answer those needs. Of course, we have already beautiful wedding rings, beautiful engagement rings, beautiful parures as well that can seduce our beautiful Indian brides.
Are you looking to tie up with any of the Indian designers?
Well, not at this stage.
But you are open to looking for partnerships?
No, at Cartier, we believe strongly that we should have an in-house design team that will integrate itself within the Cartier values to bring the best of Cartier.
How about sourcing some of the gems or jewelry from India and incorporating it into your designs?
Well, gems and jewelry, of course, are not grown on trees, and they are coming from the mines, and they are, of course, offered through different people in the industry, through different channels. And, well, of course, we do buy from a different area, and India is part of the strong market in terms of providing gems and jewels to all the best jewelers in the world.
So approximately what percentage?
I would not be able to tell you.
But going forward, do you expect it now that you're going to be expanding your retail presence?
What is important for us is not to be present through retail to buy more or less gems. What is very important for us is to buy the best. So if India is able to provide the best, Cartier will definitely look for that.
Cartier also looks into buying back jewelry or restoring that. So are you looking to incorporate that in India as well?
Well, you have a very interesting point about that. So, well, I guess you've seen that lately we have bought back the beautiful necklace of the Maharaja of Patiala, which was when we bought it back from London in a very sorry state. So yes, because that's a piece of art, we restored that piece of art and we were able through our connections to restore it in a beautiful way. But we are more looking on that side at something which is representative of a creative field and which is part of our Cartier art collection rather than anything else.
Are you also looking at the franchisee route?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay. Mr. Normand, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, on our side, we are looking for the best, and we are hoping to bring the excellence of Cartier to India, and these are, of course, very exciting months and years that we are going to live. And as I was saying, what is very exciting for us is that a new chapter is now opening on our relation with India, and I'm sure it's going to help us to achieve a lot of very great moments and will bring something which is going to be historical.
Thank you, Mr. Normand, for taking out the time to talk to NDTV Profit. It was absolutely a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for watching.